Hello, lovely listeners. You've found the Red Rabbit Hole. It's dark and a little scary down here. So let me quickly introduce myself and my fellow host, Lisa Shepherd. So I'm NV Peacock, also known as Nicky. I'm a best-selling thriller author, lover of psychology, and a reformed advertising salesperson. Lisa is a comedian, therapist, and intrepid mum of 2 bundles of joy. Together, we will lead you through true crime cases that have inspired popular thriller books, highlighting every shadowy corner, digging up every piece of dirt, and finding every hidden carrot, and all just for you. So if you've ever been obsessed with true crime or addicted to gritty fiction, grab your torches and blankies. It's time to journey down the Red Rabbit Hole. Lisa, are you there?
We are here, deep, deep down in the Red Rabbit Hole.
Yes, we are. It is a little scary down here and very, very dark. Do you think we'll find our way out?
Let's hope so, but you know, I'm up for it if we don't.
Okay. Yeah, I could live here. It seems warm at least.
The Red Rabbit Hole that I've been down since we decided to do this was whether the Red Rabbit Hole is a euphemism.
Oh.
And the statement I just said a second ago about whether we get out or not just makes that worse.
It really does.
But I've been looking. I've looked on the Urban Dictionary. I've looked in, the Oxford Dictionary. I can't find it as a euphemism, so I don't think it is. But listeners, if you have any ideas and can let us know, we'll appreciate it.
Yeah, that would be great. I would hate to think I'm that naive, but when we were writing it down, it did. I must admit, it crossed my mind as well.
Regardless, let's go on.
So we're going to be doing this podcast, listeners, as a way of bridging the gap between true crime and thriller fiction. So I am an author. I write thriller fiction. And Lisa, you're a true crime enthusiast?
I am a bit, yeah. Yeah, I love a bit of true crime. Definitely in podcast form. That's my favourite form.
Excellent. So we are right on track to see what kind of real true crimes inspired thriller books. And that's what this podcast is all going to be about. So we're going to be looking at fiction. We're going to be looking at true crime cases. We're also going to be roping in authors where we can to talk us through, and some industry experts.
Ooh, exciting.
So you sound like you really mean that too.
Did I not? I did really mean it, but I also kind of thought, I'm second guessing myself.
Well, you've already heard it.
I'm there, yeah. No, I mean, I'm like, oh, how should I talk on a podcast? And I'm trying not to be normal, but then the normal bursts out of me. The ridiculous and the silly. So I am genuinely very excited because I think it's like a really cool idea. Yeah, I'm lucky to be here. So lucky to be on board for the journey. But yeah, I'm really excited because it just fascinates me, the rabbit holes that authors kind of get themselves into. I think when I read a thriller and I'm looking, how I'm visualizing things, I thought, gosh, where have they been to be able to write that which takes me there as I'm reading?
It is difficult. I mean, from my point of view, I can't speak for every author, but it does take a lot of research, and also the fiction that we write isn't true to the actual case itself. We can't just verbatim talk about a case. We use it as inspiration, but we do have to find out everything we can about that case to make sure that we are having the right inspiration.
Absolutely. And you gotta go there and imagine it.
Definitely. And it's really hard sometimes to take yourself away from it. I mean, I write first person, so it can be even harder for me to then get back out of the character and into normal life, in inverted commas, and feel like a normal person.
So you're trying to go into the mind as well of the person who has committed the crime.
Yeah. In one of my books, The Brother, I wrote from a serial killer's point of view, it was actually a lot of fun. I mean, I'm only going to admit that to you guys, and the select listeners out there.
Fun in a book, not fun as in I'm about to go out and try this.
Definitely not, because it felt like it would be a lot of work and a commitment that I'm just not ready for. There's a lot of cleanup.
I
A lot of prep.
would. Yes, I would be a serial killer, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Probably dedication. Be dedicated to the cause, I should think.
A lot of dedication, a lot of it's a lot of organisation, like I said.
It is. It's
to
not
make sure you're not being caught.
It's
And
not for
worry.
everyone, thankfully.
Thankfully. No, and definitely not physically for me, but fun in a way to imagine myself as that kind of person. And I felt that we'll probably talk about more of this later on in another episode, but I felt that with the brother, when I was talking from his point of view, it was very much a case of I wanted the reader to like him, to feel almost like a guilty pleasure to spend time with him in his sections. So I gave him a bit of a code. So he had a bit of a Dexter code in terms of, who he would kill and who he wouldn't. But he also had a little bit of arrogance around him too, and a little bit of humour.
A little bit, yeah, like Dexter, like you say, or you. You watched that?
Joe. Yeah. Have you read the books?
No, I haven't.
They're very different.
Okay. Oh, I have to read the books.
So, Lisa, what's your favourite podcast?
I've got two. I've got two favourites. So Case File is one of my favourites because that's like serious. They give you the lowdown, all the details, and are very, very respectful of victims and are really, I think, championing the victims' voices when they are retelling. And I really respect that because sometimes I think you can get a bit lost in often the names of the killers, the murderers, we know, don't we? They go down in history and we lose those victims' voices. So I really like that for that. And then the other one that I particularly enjoy is My Favourite Murder.
Yes. Yeah, I like those girls too. They have a really good way of getting the points across, and they have a really good theory, don't they?
They do, yeah. And it's a bit lighter. There's times when you're sort of going through and it is a heavy one, and there are moments where I think, I'm not sure, I'm going to have to take a little break. I'm going to have to take a little true crime time out for 5 minutes, and then I'll come back. Whereas in My Favourite Murder, they give you that with a little laugh and a joke, and of course they have the best advice.
They do. They have the best advice to not be polite.
Yeah, absolutely genuinely. If you don't want to get murdered, don't be polite, don't be nice, don't get into the car when somebody says, come get into my car, or come help me, I need some help. Don't be nice, don't help people.
Yeah.
Just generally don't be nice in life, I think, because when people pass away, they'll say, oh, they were so nice, they lit up a room. I don't want to be nice. I don't want to light up a room. I want to be really horrible. At my funeral, I want the vicar to stand up and say, well, thank goodness she's gone.
Pat the coffin goodbye.
Yeah. Everyone holds up little flags saying, good riddance. See you later.
And that song Celebration comes on.
Yeah.
Celebrate good times.
Yeah, everyone has a toast. Hey, she's gone. She was horrible. She was never polite. She never helped anyone with their cars or their puppies. She was an awful human being.
I've got to be honest, though. The odds of a killer asking you for help and a normal person asking you for help, that it's more, in the favour of a normal person. So maybe be nice sometimes, Lisa.
Oh, okay, on occasion, if they look really innocent, but then that's probably worse if they make themselves look really innocent.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult. Where's the line?
But you are absolutely right about the actual statistics and the chances of. But still, keep your wits about you. Maybe that's the takeaway advice from that one.
Definitely. Yeah.
So what's your favourite podcast?
Well, my favourite podcast that I'm listening to at the moment is Crime Junkie.
Ooh.
So it's another American podcast, and they have some really great advice too, and I've took this advice. So they talk about having an If I Go Missing folder.
Oh, what's that?
So this is a collection of all your passwords for things. So things like your computer, your phone, your bank account details. So if something were to happen to you and no one has the passcodes for your phone, then they can't tell, who you rang or who rang you or anything like that. They can't track anything down properly. And the phone companies take a long time for data protection to actually release that information. And as you know, when someone goes missing, every second counts. So if someone you trust has this folder, they can actually find the information regarding you a lot quicker and maybe track you down in time.
Oh, that is a good idea. I'm a bit worried about Face ID, though. I think my folder will just have a picture of my face in it. Just unlock my phone with my face, and then if they've got my number, they wouldn't have my phone. Yeah. You know, I open everything with my face. Sounds like I just hit my head against things, doesn't it? Like that's how I log into computers.
It does. Bang.
It did.
That's why it took you so long to log in today.
Don't.
That was that noise I heard.
Don't use your hands.
The wet
Lisa,
thump.
Don't just typing with my face. Maybe. I think I need. Yeah, I'm gonna have to need an If I Go Missing folder. I have to get one. Well, so hang on. How come I don't know about your If I Go Missing folder? Do you not trust me to be able to find you?
I have a lot of ex-police friends, so I'd rather it be them that spring into action.
Fair game.
and create a kind of A-team that can have a black van. So what about true crime cases, Lisa? What have you been listening to or digging into recently?
Oh, well, most recently it was the Bakersfield 3. Have you heard that podcast?
I have. I haven't listened to it, though. Tell me about it.
Oh, so it's about 3 friends who go missing in the same area of Bakersfield in America, and they go missing. Well, actually, I say go missing. 2 go missing, and then 1 is murdered. And it's not so much about the links between those cases, though there are some, and I don't want to ruin everything. It's more about the mums. The 3 mums come together and search for their children because they didn't feel the local police, the local sheriff, or whoever was doing enough. So they come together and sort of really try to raise the profile of the case. And I quite enjoyed it because I probably went a little bit down a rabbit hole on that one because I went to the Facebook page and it's all in the podcast. The podcast is done beautifully and you can hear all the recordings and all the stuff that's on the Facebook page, but there was a little something about being able to actually go there myself. I'm on the Facebook page for the Bakersfield 3, the genuine one that the mum set up to help to try and find their children.
Yeah, it kind of makes you feel like you're part of it. A bit like those armchair detectives. You know, you can understand how people can get really embroiled and go down those red rabbit holes very quickly when a true crime case, especially one that hasn't been solved properly.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's my only problem with it. I don't like an unsolved case. I know this is not, Lisa, this is not a movie. Or a series. You're not going to get a resolution unless, of course, you're talking about Lost. But you're not going to get a good ending. But I do kind of like it. I do like an answer. I do like it to be resolved. Not resolved, the wrong word. I'm having trouble finding my words today. But just, I like an answer. I like to know by the end. I won't watch unsolved mysteries on Netflix because I just know I will be deeply unsatisfied by the end.
You like completion.
I do. I just like to know. I like to know that justice has been served.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm the complete opposite, though. I will devour every unsolved mystery because I like to talk about it and I like to think about all the different ways that something could have happened or that the solution will present itself. I love it when you've got a case that's been unsolved for decades and then suddenly it's in the papers again and they've solved it. That's like just...
That's really exciting. I mean, I like the solved bit. And it's great at the moment, isn't it? Because you keep seeing more and more in the news that are getting solved with advances in DNA and cases being reopened. You are seeing lots of things being solved, like the man on the beach. That was solved, wasn't it?
Oh, I haven't heard that one. Is that one that we need to talk about, perhaps?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe we'll need to have a look at that one. The Somerton man.
The
Is it the
summer.
Summertime Life?
Oh, I heard about that one because he had like really almost like spy stuff in his pockets, didn't he?
Yeah, and he was just on the beach. He was just on the beach dressed, and he had like a note in his pocket, I think.
Yeah, I do
But
remember
they
hearing about that.
solved it. They found out who he was.
Oh, we definitely
Yeah, I
need
read an
to.
article of it. We'll have a look at that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm betting that inspired a few books as well around the time.
Yeah, we'll have to go and find because it was 1930s or something he was found. He's been decades ago. It was definitely a long-term unsolved mystery of who he was.
Oh, well, we'll definitely have to. I'm going to make a note of that, and we'll have to come back and talk about that one. So, what about thriller books?
Well, most recently, I've read one, you probably won't have heard of it, just by a very little known author called N.V. Peacock, The Brother. No, please don't tell me off that it is not her latest work. I am a book behind.
You're fine. At least you read it.
I read it. Yeah, it's very good. I recommend it, Nikki. I think you ought to give it a go. Yeah, it's very good. It's very gripping, really gripping. And it did make me think that discussion that we were just having about being nice. There's a bit of that in there about not being too polite or too nice.
Yeah. Do you know, I think this is a whole episode. I think we need to talk about The Brother and the research rabbit holes that I jumped down with that book were long and winding and dirty and dark. And I don't even think I did escape that one. I'm still down there.
Are we back to the red rabbit hole being euphemism?
God, I hope not.
Right. Yes, but that's definitely an episode.
Excellent.
Let's do that.
So the book that I read recently was The Final Party by A.A. Chowdhury.
I've not read that one.
The problem is I can't really talk about it without doing spoilers, and I really don't want to spoil it because it was such a great book. But needless to say, I really hope that isn't based in some kind of true crime case because it would really stop me going from to parties and RSVPing to anything. I'd have to be a social recluse.
Is that another way in which you're just going to stop any politeness whatsoever? I'm not even going to reply. I can't even be polite enough to reply to an invitation.
Yeah,
to
it's a pretty
party.
invitation. Yeah, looks like good food. No, not going. I'm not risking it.
Have you got a true crime case that you've been kind of down the red rabbit hole of recently, or something you've been watching or listening to recently?
Well, I have a lot on the go, as you can imagine. But
more euphemisms.
Sorry. I feel like we should have like a little horn to kind of, prepare the reader that it's going to be rude.
Yes, we need euphemism horn.
I've been watching, and I'm a little bit behind on this, the Netflix series Don't F With Cats.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, because I had in my latest book, The 13th Girl, I had some online armchair detectives, and someone recommended that I watch that documentary. And yeah, it was, don't want to spoil it, but very, very good. I would highly recommend it. All about a case of a man who did some very nasty things to some kittens online and how he escalated, as serial killers tend to do, from small animals to people, and how these this kind of group of vigilantes online decided they were going to hunt him down and stop him.
No, Don't F With Cats it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And I love the armchair detectives. I'm excited that you've got armchair detectives in The 13th Girl. I best read it. If you like armchair detectives, there's another one on Netflix. The name has escaped me, but maybe you can help me. It's about a sort of cult, like a love cult. And it's a couple who are quite sort of synonymous online, and they you find your true flame. Is it True Flame? Cult of the True Flame or something like that? Maybe, or I'm going to look it up so I can have the answer before the end of this. But that is a lot of people that it's the relatives of those who have gone and got involved and those who have kind of before they got out. And there's a lot of them searching online almost to kind of track down their loved ones who have got embroiled kind of in this cult. And I think I might have to be a little bit careful because the True Flame Universe, that's it. That's what I think they're still going. Jeff Devine and Shalia Devine are the people who have set it up. Yeah, it's still going. It's been going for 7 years. And the idea is that we all only have one true flame. So in our lives, we need to find our true flame. And by being sort of signed up with Jeff and Shalia, you are able to, they will help you to find your true flame. And they will also tell you who your true flame is. Have a little look, because you've got sort of families there who have that invested thing. Maybe they have got a If I Go Missing folder, but they're trying to they're getting little snippets of their loved ones online, saying, this is my true flame and I'm off doing this, but kind of being like, well, that's not really who you are. And then you have members who have previously been there who have then kind of left the group talking about their experiences.
Yeah, I'll definitely look that up. Do you want to know an interesting random fact about cults?
Yeah, I do.
So cults tend to have very basic meal plans, right?
Okay.
And so they don't tend to include things like milk, like dairy and meats. They tend to be more grain related, like porridge and things like that. And that's because the brain needs protein to form complex thoughts.
Oh.
So if you take protein out of your diet, you'll suddenly find that your thinking process starts to slow down and that you're a little bit more susceptible to things.
Of course, yeah. You need protein for your neurons.
Yeah.
So, wow. Also, maybe a key reason I'll never make it in a cult.
You need meat.
I'm going to be breaking out, really. Well, it's not so much the meat. It's probably like the chocolate. Does chocolate contain protein?
I hope so.
Not, but maybe the caffeine. But just if you took sugar out my life, I'd be really boring. No, I don't know if I'd be really boring, but I just couldn't. I couldn't. I think my sugar cravings would drive me to break free of the cult.
So you'd be sat there at the cult having breakfast going, do you know what would really jazz this porridge up? Smarties.
Oh, Smarties in porridge. What a good idea. They'd go all different colours, wouldn't they? Oh, I might try that on the kids. Because that was...
No.
Yeah, have your porridge and put a couple of Smarties in it.
Make sure their brain function is right for the rest of the day.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Might be definitely giving them too much protein. You know, like parenting would be easier if there was less independent thought there. But please don't report me. Yeah, please don't report me. I'm not.
Maybe that's for another podcast. Best parenting podcast.
No, we're not going to do that. But please don't report me. I do really give my children a nice, varied and wide diet.
So I think we burrowed in quite deep in that rabbit hole, didn't we?
We did.
And that was just the introduction to us as people.
We're rabbit holing left, right and centre. Awooga. There goes the euphemism alert.
So just a little note to say thank you if you've gotten this far on the podcast. Thank you for sticking with us and believing in us. I promise you we'll get better.
Yeah. Yes, we're improving every day. We're going to eat lots of meat and dairy.
So we're going to go off now and have some chocolate.
Smarty porridge.
So I hope you have a really good day, evening, night, whenever you're listening to this. So tatty bye, listeners. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye. Thank you.